Okay, duck lamb behind the house here in the field, coming up towards the wood line, kind of scouting around rather for any type of predator type critters roaming around. Haven't found any evidence, which is good. I would like to talk a little about religion here if I can get going on it. I've talked about spirits being conjured up from other worlds. This has been going on for thousands of years. It's nothing new. It's something no one wants to talk about because they just want to keep denying that it could actually happen. I believe these same benevolent spirits are guiding all the governments, making all the decisions right now. And I don't care what your political views are. These people that get involved with it can't escape it. And they have to do whatever they're compelled or told, or compelled by others to do, rather, I should say. They are compelled, but it's not because it's their own fruition. It's definitely another power. And then of course, the nuclear saturation, the radiation saturation of the whole world with these man-made elements and isotopes, they're just everywhere. Everything, yeah, all these little plants, all these trees, me, this brush here, grass, all has it in it. Now, that can't be good. We are altering the very state of all life on Earth. And I've always thought that this has to be on purpose. It just can't be random. It just wasn't thought of, and it happened, and then, oh shit, we made a mistake. This is all part of the whole plan, which is the annihilation of all life on Earth. Annihilate all life on Earth, not just humans, all life, eventually. It's the whole game, the whole scam, all that God has created. Now, religion. I'm trying to make this fucker fast. You know, this is from the peacekeeping force. This actually came from my daughter. I threw all these medals. I didn't really throw them away. I just gave them to the kids to play with when I got out of the military. And she had it pinned to a bear or something she found 20 years later, you know, and gave it to me. Hey, look what I got. And this was a small one for your dress uniform. Then you had a big one for your other uniforms. I don't know how the fuck that worked. I wasn't into medals and stuff like that. But while I was stationed in the Sinai Desert, this was a hand-picked situation, and we were the first in. We were always the first in. I mean, I would have been happy being the third or fourth in, you know, but we always had to be the first in, which means it was the hardest, you know. It's always ended up like that. Anyway, I had a lot of chances to talk to Bedouins, and I sat down with them in their tents. I'm a very curious person. While the rest of the people were talking about, hey, where's the bitches and what do you guys drink and all this other shit, we were talking religion and about politics. With the elders I was talking. They always liked to see me because I always had something sensible to say to them. But I asked them one time, why do they hate America? I mean, we're loaded for bear. We got guns. We could wipe out a whole village, no problem, just 3 or 4 of us in a matter of seconds. And we walk into these villages, and I feel kind of bad because these people, they're just dressed. They got no shoes, a lot of them, the kids, dressed in robes. And I asked the elder, I said, how do you feel about us being here? He said, well, there's been armies here forever in the Sinai. He goes, that's nothing new. But then I asked him, I says, but why do you guys hate the Americans so much? The Muslim, the Islamic people, they hate the Americans so much. And I know because I thought, well, it's because we support Israel, and that is one of the reasons, but it's not the reason. He says, well, you guys are of the devil. And I goes, well, how so? He says, well, the Americans and Western cultures are impatient. And he says that impatience is a sign of the devil. And we see you, and we see these Western cultures, how impatient you are. You're always going here, going there, flying here, going there, always doing something on a grand scale. It's the sign of impatience, and they're always rushing around. You know, look at us. And it's true, everybody's impatient. And this impatience sort of really ruins, or sort of ruins, not ruin, but runs your life. It controls your life. And he was right about that. And look, these Muslim people, they're just like us. This is what's funny. People go, oh, them dead Muslims, them Islamic dudes, they're just like us. Most Muslims don't go to prayer every day. They don't give a fuck about prayer. Look, all they want to do is make some money, do some trade. Hey, look, later on in life, if you turn to Allah and give up your ways and go to heaven, you're good. But until then, you know, you have to make commerce and make trade. Nobody wants to have wars and fight and kill each other. There's no profit in that. Only for certain people, not for everybody. There's profit in peace for everybody, not in wars. Now, and the Muslim people are just like the Christian people. We say, oh, we're a Christian nation. And of course, Obama says we're not, because the church attendance is down, but there's people waking up that think that church is just a scam. You know, these religious churches, Christian or whatever they are, they're just a scam. And there's a lot of people waking up to that, and there's not less Christians in this country. I think there's more. But there's real ones, not the fake ones you find in church on a Sunday. And I hate, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because everybody has their path to their way. They have to make it through this path. And as long as this path is going towards the same direction, we're all in the same, we're striving toward the same thing. But the Muslims are just like the Christians. You know, they don't go to prayer, they don't go to church or mosque all the time. They don't even give a shit. Just like the Christians here, we don't give a shit. Nobody goes to church on Sunday and does all this Christian stuff. You know, we have all these fake pagan holidays, Christmas, Easter, and nobody keeps the Sabbath or keeps the holy days. Not many people do. And not many people follow the Ten Commandments. Hardly any. Most Christians in church tell you the Ten Commandments don't even matter anymore. So we don't have really a Christian country. We just have a bunch of people that call themselves Christians. They have a bunch of people that call themselves Muslims. And they're only radical when they're pushed to the point where they have to be radical, where they have to be forced into a group. And then they have to have, this whole group's got to find an identity. Then they have to have a focus, which is, you know, white people, Christian people, or the Western people, the way they treat them, or the way they bomb their countries, which is really fucked. Because these people have no idea. Now, I sat down with these old Bedouins in a tent in the middle of the Sinai Desert, and they told me it's impatience. But if you look at these Muslims that are today, the zealots, the ones that are screaming, oh, kill the Americans, behead them, they're the impatient ones too. Look at them. And look at the Americans. We're impatient too. See, nobody holds the moral high ground here. Nobody. And what's happening is we're being divided, and it's not just a Muslim and a Christian. It's the atheist. It's all of them. The Buddhists. Look at Myanmar. Look at what's happening in China with all those Hindus and the Buddhists and all that. You know, it's a way. Religion is a way to divide people. It's a way to give you an ideology that you would fight and die for, even though it's not really tangible. You can't. It's not something you can go out, touch out, and reach. It's not like land or food or a woman. Somebody's raping your daughters. It's something that's not even really there. It's a belief system. It's a faith, and everybody's been totally misguided about it. I don't care what religion you are. And that keeps the wars going. That keeps the profits coming in for who? The people at the top. Where's the top at? The governments. On top of these corporations. And look at all the staff, this cabinet that Trump put in. They're all the same corporate people that are at the very top. They control nations, these people. Exxon, come on, they control nations, these people. They destroy nations. It's just not normal. We've lost our way in life as humans. I don't know if I got my message across about religion here. This is beautiful out here. It's kind of getting a little nippy now. It's getting kind of late, around 5 o'clock. I'm out in the middle of this swampy area. But Americans and everybody's just going to have to realize what's going on here and unite. All the good, it's going to be good against evil. It's not going to be Muslim against Christian or black against white or Hispanic against white or black. Look, there's good people in all races and all religions. And you know what? You have to put the mind control aside, but they won't. Like I said, they're uniting these people, the war's getting ready, and it's going to break it on all fronts because it's not just a physical war, it's also a spiritual war. That's why they can't comprehend what's going on in Afghanistan and Iraq and all these things, because it's not just physical, it's also spiritual. And God only knows what's going on really beneath the surface with all this technology where we can bring back, we can reanimate, you know, fossils, I mean not fossils, but DNA, viable DNA that's been found in mammoths and other animals that have been extinct for a while, and they're actually bringing these animals back to life. I don't know, we got to think about this. This is pretty scary stuff. Well, not really scary. To me, it's just interesting. But for somebody that didn't really know, I mean, and they're involved in this type of TV and entertainment world and sport world where they're going to be surprised by this whole thing. I guess it is kind of scary because when something just kind of surprises you, it fucking is scary. But if you know what's coming and you know what to expect, it's not so scary. I don't know if this is going to come out right. Who knows? I'm gonna head back. Maybe make another one, try to do a better video. Nothing out here. It's just beautiful, quiet, swampy, marshy. Duck out and look at the sun. It's the sun. Duck out.